Now, tuition plus room and board.
The entertainment world was shaken to its core on July 20th, 2025, when news broke that Malcolm-Jamal Warner, beloved actor and cultural icon, had passed away at just 54 years old while vacationing with his family in Costa Rica. Fans around the globe were stunned to learn that this Hollywood legend, known for his grounded spirit, artistic brilliance and lifelong devotion to his family, had been caught in a deadly rip current while swimming with his 8-year-old daughter off the coast of Playa Cocles. Despite the desperate efforts of bystanders and emergency responders who performed CPR for over 45 minutes, Warner was pronounced dead at the scene, leaving behind a devastated wife, daughter, and legions of fans who had grown up with his infectious charm. The cause of death, as confirmed by local authorities, was asphyxia by submersion, and the incident was ruled a tragic accident. The shock was magnified by the fact that Malcolm had just been honored weeks earlier for his podcast and community advocacy. In the days that followed, tributes flooded social media, with heartfelt messages pouring in from former co-stars, including Raven Simonet and the resident castmates Morris Chestnut and Shawnette Renee Wilson. Their words echoed the thoughts of millions. Malcolm was larger than life, and his legacy could never be forgotten. Yet as we reflect on this heartbreaking loss, one question lingers in the minds of those who knew his work. How did a kid from Jersey City rise to such heights of fame, fortune, and personal fulfillment, only for it all to be taken in a single devastating moment? Born on August 18, 1970, in the spirited yet economically challenged heart of Jersey City, New Jersey, Malcolm-Jamal Warner was raised by his single mother, Pamela Warner, after his parents' divorce. She was more than a parent, she was his guiding light, fiercest supporter, and eventually his manager. Pamela recognized Malcolm's love for the arts early on, channeling his energy into acting and music, even as they juggled limited resources in a world that didn't offer many chances to young black boys with big dreams. She instilled in him the belief that adversity was something you faced with grace, not fear, and from this, Malcolm learned to navigate rejection with resilience. By the time he was 9, Pamela had relocated them to Los Angeles to pursue his passion full-time, enrolling him in acting classes that would open the first doors in what would become a storied career. But the early years weren't glamorous. Malcolm faced endless auditions, repeated dismissals, and the subtle but brutal biases of an industry that too often overlooked raw black talent. Still, he didn't quit. His mother's voice in his ear reminded him that talent paired with determination was unstoppable. That unwavering dedication became his signature, and it wasn't long before the right role finally found him, a role that would not only change his life but redefine television history for generations. At just 14 years old, Malcolm-Jamal Warner burst into American living rooms as Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, and in doing so became a permanent fixture in pop culture. The show was revolutionary, painting an image of a loving, educated, and successful black family on primetime television in a way the world had rarely seen. Malcolm's portrayal of Theo was both relatable and refreshingly authentic, giving young audiences a character who felt real, flawed, and aspirational. As the show topped ratings charts for 5 consecutive seasons, Malcolm received an Emmy nomination in 1986, a stunning feat for someone still in his teens. But Theo wasn't just a role, it was a breakthrough. It launched Malcolm into stardom, and gave him a platform that few black teen actors had ever had before. His comedic timing, emotional depth, and boyish charisma resonated deeply with viewers, many of whom saw themselves and their families in the Huxtables. Yet Malcolm never let the fame go to his head. Even at the height of The Cosby Show's success, he remained grounded, often crediting his mother for keeping him focused on growth and gratitude. While others might have faded after such a defining role, Malcolm refused to be boxed in. He was only getting started, and what came next would prove just how versatile and visionary he truly was. While many child stars struggled to transition beyond their breakout roles, Malcolm-Jamal Warner didn't just evolve, he thrived, reinventing himself as a multifaceted artist across acting, directing, music, and storytelling. He headlined Malcolm and Eddie from 1996 to 2000, stepping into both a starring role and behind-the-scenes duties as producer and director. showcasing his growing command of the creative process. Later, he took on heavier dramatic parts, like Al Cowlings in The People v. O.J. Simpson, American Crime Story, and Dr. A.J. Austin in The Resident, where his performances drew praise for their depth and subtlety. But Malcolm wasn't limited to screen work. He was a musician at heart, fronting a jazz-funk band called Miles Long, and releasing 4 albums that blurred the lines between poetry, soul, and sonic experimentation. In 2015, he earned a Grammy Award for Best Traditional R&B Performance, alongside Lala Hathaway and the Robert Glasper Experiment for the soulful track Jesus Children. Even his directorial talents left a mark, as he helmed episodes of The Cosby Show, Kenan and Kel, and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. His podcast Not All Hood launched in 2024 with co-hosts Wheezy Baraka and Candace Kelly, tackled deep conversations around Black identity, love, and mental health, earning widespread praise for its authenticity. With each endeavor, Malcolm proved that fame was never the goal, impact was. And as he built a $6 million net worth, he also built something far more valuable, a legacy rooted in passion and purpose. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's lifestyle reflected not just affluence, but an appreciation for architecture, comfort, and self-expression. His real estate portfolio began with a breathtaking $6 million luxury retreat nestled in the Hollywood Hills, an estate that blended elegance with modern functionality. From the grand chandelier-lit foyer to the chef's kitchen equipped with sub-zero appliances and quartz countertops, the home was tailored for both daily life and glamorous entertaining. Floor-to-ceiling windows in the living area bathed the space in light, while a plush home theater and infinity pool outside turned the property into a private resort. Not far away in Studio City, Warner invested in a $4.8 million haven, sleeker in design but equally rich in character. With sliding glass doors opening to a spacious patio, a granite-topped kitchen island, and a cozy media room with a wet bar, the home exuded both comfort and versatility. It was the perfect balance of modern luxury and family-friendly charm. His third home, a $3.5 million retreat in Encino, embodied warmth with its bright interiors, built-in reading nooks, and casual elegance. Every element, from the freestanding tub to the banquette breakfast nook, reflected his love for peaceful, grounded living. These homes weren't just real estate investments, they were chapters in a life fully lived, where creativity met tranquility. Together they told the story of a man who succeeded on his terms and curated spaces that offered joy, inspiration, and sanctuary away from the spotlight. Unlike many celebrities who flaunted their wealth through excess, Malcolm-Jamal Warner let his vehicles speak through refined taste and practical elegance. Leading his collection was a Rolls-Royce Dawn, an open-top symbol of prestige priced at $350,000. This wasn't just a luxury car, it was a statement of grace, the kind of ride you take not to impress, but to experience the stillness of dusk while cruising through LA with the wind in your hair. Then came the Ferrari 488 GTB Spider, a $300,000 beast that combined adrenaline with artistic engineering. It was Warner's nod to his love for speed and performance, a getaway car for moments when he needed to leave it all behind and just drive. Lastly, the Range Rover SV Biography added a rugged yet lavish edge to his lineup. At $200,000, it wasn't about status, it was about freedom. Perfect for road trips or quiet coastal drives, it was a vehicle that fit seamlessly into his dynamic lifestyle as a father, husband, and creative. Each of these cars reflected facets of his identity, bold yet understated, powerful yet refined. They weren't about excess, they were about expressing who he was in motion. While many might have measured success in material things alone, Malcolm saw his cars the way he saw his career, a journey, not a display. His garage wasn't just filled with engines, it held stories, memories, and moments of pure personal satisfaction. In a world obsessed with celebrity exposure, Malcolm-Jamal Warner took a different path, choosing to keep his most cherished relationships close to the chest and protected from the spotlight. Married to a woman whose identity he never publicly revealed, Warner fiercely guarded the privacy of their family, especially their daughter, born around 2018. He referred to her tenderly as his mini-us in a heartfelt 2021 Instagram post, but refused to share her face, writing, She has the rest of her life for that life. Right now I just want her to be. That sentiment wasn't just fatherly, it was deeply intentional, reflecting his belief that children deserved normalcy, even when their parents were famous. Beyond his nuclear family, Malcolm's past was woven with emotional complexity. He famously dated actress Michelle Thomas, who played his girlfriend on The Cosby Show, and remained by her side as she tragically passed from cancer in 1998. Later, his relationships with Karen Molina White and Regina King lasted years, and even after they ended, he maintained respectful, amicable ties with both women. His deep compassion extended beyond romance. Through Not All Hood, his podcast, he tackled mental health stigma, celebrated Black love, and stood as a voice for community healing. In July 2025, just weeks before his death, he supported Be Love Day, an initiative focused on empathy and human connection. He didn't just act the part of a good man, he lived it, and in those private moments that never made headlines, his authenticity shone brightest. July 2025 was supposed to be a time of rest and celebration for Malcolm-Jamal Warner, who had recently wrapped a successful podcast season and received praise for his advocacy work. Instead, it ended in devastating loss. While vacationing with his wife and daughter at Playa Cocles in Costa Rica, Warner went swimming around 2:30 p.m., unaware of the strong rip currents known to lurk in the area. Witnesses say he was swept away quickly, and although heroic bystanders pulled him back to shore and paramedics attempted CPR for nearly an hour, he never regained consciousness. The official report listed asphyxia by submersion as the cause of death, the most heartbreaking detail. He had been swimming alongside his young daughter, a moment meant to be joyful that turned into an unimaginable nightmare. Tributes rolled in from across the entertainment world, co-stars, friends, and fans all mourning the loss of a man they considered a role model. A family spokesperson issued a public warning about rip currents, hoping that Malcolm's tragic death might save others in the future. His sudden passing wasn't just the loss of a star, it was the silencing of a voice that had always stood for grace, growth, and genuine love. For fans who had watched him grow from Theo Huxtable into a cultural touchstone, the news was more than shocking. It was deeply personal, because in many ways we felt like we knew him. And now that he was gone, the world felt just a bit dimmer. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's story is one of triumph over barriers, authenticity over spectacle, and a deep commitment to art, community, and family. He didn't chase trends, he created space for meaningful conversations and built a legacy on substance. From his Emmy-nominated role as Theo to his Grammy-winning musical performances, from groundbreaking television to the quiet moments baking cakes for his wife's birthday, Warner lived intentionally and with integrity. His $6 million net worth, his jaw-dropping homes, and his high-end car collection were mere reflections of the success he earned through decades of work. Not trophies but tools that allowed him to live on his own terms. He taught us that fame doesn't have to cost your soul, and that the truest measure of a man is how he treats those closest to him when no one's watching. Though his life was cut short, the lessons he left behind remain timeless. Pursue your passion relentlessly, love deeply but privately, speak truth even when it's uncomfortable, and never forget where you came from. In the wake of his loss, fans continue to revisit his performances, his music, and his podcast, finding in them the same warmth and wisdom he carried throughout his life. And as the years pass, Malcolm-Jamal Warner will be remembered not just for what he did, but for who he was. If you were moved by the incredible life and legacy of Malcolm-Jamal Warner, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the Celeb Insider. His story is one that reminds us how powerful authenticity, creativity, and quiet strength can be, even in a world full of noise. Share your favorite Malcolm moment in the comments below, and tell us how his work touched your life. Whether it was a hilarious scene on The Cosby Show, a smooth jazz track, or a candid podcast episode that made you think, your voice helps keep his memory alive. And don't go far. Our next video dives into the untold story of another iconic figure whose life took an equally shocking turn. Until then, stay tuned, stay curious, and remember, behind every headline is a story worth telling.